what's up? Tori here, and I'm here for my 18-week pregnancy update video. And as you guys can tell, I had that picture at the very start of this video, and I want to get it out of there right away because otherwise there's no way I can make it through any part of this video without spoiling it for you guys. But we do know the baby's gender, and if you can tell by that picture, it's a girl. We are having a baby girl, and I'm so excited. We are both very excited. And I just also want to kind of briefly explain the tractors, tutus, and tiaras thing. My husband, Matt, is very big into tractors. There's like 5 of them out in our barn outside, and he loves to like fix them up, ride them, anything to do with tractors. And so no matter what gender this baby would have been, tractors would have been part of his life. And so so the tractors part is because she'll definitely be on tractors with her daddy all the time. And then tutus and tiaras is for me because she's still going to be my little girly princess too. Like, she's going to be a mix of both. Like, I just kind of foresee that. So that was kind of why I went with that for the idea for the little gender reveal picture that I did, that I posted like on my social media and stuff like that. So that is that explanation. But yes, we are having a baby girl. We found that out yesterday. I will talk about the appointment yesterday and the ultrasound yesterday, and also my appointment that I had with my OB last week in just a little bit. But first, we are going to get started just kind of with the updates on baby and me. So first off, baby is now about 5.5 inches long, or about the size of a sweet potato, and she is also weighing in at like 7 ounces, which is actually what they told me at the ultrasound yesterday too, that they approximated her to be around 7 ounces. So, which is right where she should be at this stage, so perfect. And another big update is she is definitely full of movement now, and definitely much harder movements, which definitely showed on the ultrasound yesterday too. She was moving like crazy on the ultrasound. She actually ended up doing like flipping like 3 times. She started off head down. She did a complete flip into butt down, and then by the end of the ultrasound had flipped herself back into head down again. So she was flipping and moving and kicking and just moving like crazy. And like, I really wasn't feeling any of it. And like, I really shouldn't say I feel it a lot, but I'll get into that when I talk about my updates more. But yeah, she's full of movements now. And her facial features are beginning to come together. She can now yawn, hiccup, and swallow. And she's beginning to develop a coating of myelin on her nerves, which protects and facilitates the brain's communication with the rest of the nervous system, which is very important for good brain development. So those are just kind of all the developmental milestones at this week for my baby girl. So that is where she is at. And then for me, definitely still tiredness off and on. I'm definitely a lot more tired some days than I am other days. Some days I feel great all day, don't feel a bit of tiredness. Some days I kind of just feel like I'm dragging a little bit, like I'm a little tired. Other days I just feel exhausted, like I don't want to move, I don't want to function, I don't want to do nothing. So that's still a thing, still hit and miss there. I've started noticing actually having like a little bit of discomfort, especially at night when I am going to bed. Like, I have a hard time getting myself comfortable, and I definitely have some restlessness going on too. I find myself kind of waking up fairly frequently, and having to just get myself re-comfortable and reposition. I've been noticing that a lot more. And along with that too, I've noticed my legs getting like this like really tight, like kind of crampy feeling. I would almost like describe it almost similar to like getting a Charlie horse, except just not painful. Like, it's not really painful, it's just like my legs get really tight, and I have to kind of like stretch them and move them and bend them, like in order to like get them back to normal and comfortable again, which I've just started noticing like recently, like within the last few days, and it only happens at night, like when I'm in bed, and it'll wake me up periodically. So I've noticed that. I'm not sure exactly what that's all about all of a sudden, but just started noticing that. And I had mentioned with baby's updates that she is obviously a lot more able to move a lot more, and I think I am actually starting to feel her movements. I mean, I can't 100% say, but I'm feeling fairly confident I am starting to feel her movements. And the first time that it really hit me was actually last night when I was in bed. I was having constant like little like, it was like feeling like in my lower abdomen, like it was just feeling very tingly like all the time, like if tingly, like almost as if like my nerves were like waking up or something. Like it felt just very tingly and kind of tickly in my lower abdomen. And there was a couple of times that I felt like these little like bumps like in my stomach, and they were very different from what I would normally feel like if it was gas. And I noticed it like a couple of times last night, and like my abdomen was very tingly for a long time last night when I went to bed, and like just like in my lower abdomen. And so I honestly think it was her moving. Like I feel like it had to have been, because it was just different from what I have felt before. And then I was noticing it again a lot today, just a lot of like different moments of where my lower abdomen would just have that very like tingly, tickly feeling. And I noticed it like maybe 1 or 2 times today where I felt just like one quick little like bump, like almost as if she kind of like kicked or jabbed me somewhere, like yeah, just kind of like a little like bump in my stomach. Like, I don't know how else to describe it, but it was kind of weird. So I didn't feel it, and then later like have more like feelings of like gas or anything. So that's why I'm starting to think I may actually be feeling her moving. I'm not 100% certain. Anyone else who's been pregnant before, like if what I'm describing sounds familiar to you, please say so in the comments and let me know. Like, yes, you girl, you are feeling your baby move. So I think I'm feeling her move. I'm not totally sure, but yeah, so that's kind of that too. And then the last thing I want to bring up about me is hormones wise, I notice I get irritated very easily and frustrated very easily. Like I'm very easily irritable, and I can't really control it. It's like one of those things that's like I suddenly get irritated and I just like I'll blow up and seem really cranky and grumpy when I'm like not, but it happens. Like I don't know, like that's just kind of the way it is. I've just noticed that a lot in this kind of last week too. So those are everything there. So now I'm going to talk about my appointments. First, I'll talk about my appointment that I had with my OB last week, Wednesday. And everything went really great there. Listened to her heartbeat, and her heartbeat last Wednesday was beating at around 150, which is normal. And the nurse also did kind of like a measurement of my uterus, like basically on my abdomen, using kind of a little tape measure. And I was measuring at that time right where I should have been, right around 17 inches or 7, which, you know, kind of is also measuring at 17, which means, you know, I was measuring around 17 weeks, which is good because that's how far along I was at that time. And so that was all good. And my blood pressure was really good. My OB came in and talked with me, and the only thing he brought up to me was that I weighed 183 at my appointment with him, and so I had gained about 9 pounds from the last time I saw him, and he said that was like a hair more than what he would like to see in my weight gain wise. Like he's like, it's not crazy, like not something I'm super worried about or anything, but he did just tell me, like remind me just to keep being mindful about my eating habits, which honestly, like I can see where definitely my weight could have been higher, because I definitely had it because I was on vacation. Like I wasn't eating normal while I was on vacation and stuff like that, like, and there was a lot more snacky stuff around, things I wasn't normally eating, you know, things like that. So I can definitely see where there was an issue, and I know there were times I wasn't eating like always perfect too, like with it, like while I was on vacation and stuff. So I know that there were definitely times that, you know, like I could definitely have probably been a little better, but it still was kind of frustrating, like, oh my gosh, like I'm really trying, like and stuff like that. But then I weighed myself a couple days later, that following Saturday, and I weighed on my own scale at home. I weighed myself when I got up in the morning, and I weighed 179 then. So I had dropped a few pounds, which honestly kind of makes sense because of the fact that I started back at work last week and everything. So I kind of got back on a more active routine, I guess, like more busy routine. And I wasn't just home, like not doing a whole lot anymore. So like I was kind of getting more moving again, and like honestly my eating has gone back into my like normal eating routine from when I was working before. And so I just kind of was eating better. So I think like I definitely dropped a lot, and I definitely think they're probably because of the heat too. I feel like there had to have been a little fluid retention. The other thing that kind of indicated that to me is my rings on my finger, my wedding rings. Suddenly were feeling a lot looser too. So I think there maybe have been a little bit of that going on as well. So I was really happy to know that. So that was kind of nice to be like, okay, maybe like I wasn't as bad as I thought I was, but definitely still, and it was kind of frustrating from the standpoint of being a weight loss surgery patient. Like, it's just like the idea of like gaining too much weight just kind of scares me in pregnancy. So it's like, I want to do my best to try to keep my weight gain as, you know, minimal as I can. So, you know, in the safeties, I should say in the weight gain safety zone for pregnancy. So yeah, that was a little frustrating when he told me that, but otherwise like everything was looking great with me and everything. Like he had nothing else to bring up. So overall, that appointment was really good and things were all really good there. And then at my ultrasound appointment yesterday, they obviously did the anatomy scan and everything looked perfect on baby girl. Everything was, you know, all normal, perfect looking. She was perfect, so adorable, so cute. At the end of this video, I will put in a bunch of the ultrasound pictures for you guys to see, so you can see her, like, seeing her, like, it just made me fall even more in love with her. Like, I just looked at her and I was just like, oh my gosh, she is so beautiful, she's perfect, she's so cute, like, she's mine, like, oh my goodness, like, I was just so awesome. And Matt was able to be with me at that appointment, so he was there the whole time too, and he said he kind of thought it was really cool to see her on the screen too, which that was fun and cool to see and have him be part of and all that. And so yeah, she was completely perfect, and like I said, moving a ton, and her heart rate was 155 yesterday, so a little higher than last time, but the week before, but again, still in the normal range with where she should be. So everything was perfect with her. She's growing great at the perfect size right now, doing really good. And then also I'm still doing good. My blood pressure was still good and everything, and I talked to the doctor right after the ultrasound, and he even said like things are looking really good so far. The only thing he mentioned to me was that the placenta is actually laying really low, like kind of close to my cervix right now. And he just mentioned that to me. He's like, at this point, I'm not concerned about it, but I'm bringing it up because he's like, most of the time, you know, it can start off low, and then as the pregnancy progresses, it'll kind of move its way up. And out of the way. He says a majority of the time it does do that, but it is just something I'm bringing up as something that I'm mentioning that we're going to kind of keep an eye on and make sure that it does that, because obviously if it were to stay down there, I wouldn't be able to have a vaginal delivery, which I really want to have a vaginal delivery, because the idea, like, having a C-section, like this, having the surgery itself doesn't scare me. Like, surgery itself doesn't scare me at all. I've had enough surgeries in my life. That surgery just doesn't scare me, but what does scare me is healing from it, because of the fact that when I had my stomach skin removal, my paniculectomy, I healed so bad from that surgery. Like, I ended up getting a really bad infection, and it drained, and it was horrible and uncomfortable, and I was miserable, and I just don't want to go through that again. I'm so afraid of that happening again with having a C-section, and then also having to take care of my newborn on top of that. So like, that's kind of my main fear with having a C-section, and my main reason I really don't want to have a C-section. Also because, again, I've had enough surgeries in my life. I just have no desire to have more surgery. So if I could have this baby vaginally, that would be my ideal thing. So that's probably the number one prayer right now, is that placenta ends up moving out of the way and where it should be. And then obviously also that, you know, little girl cooperates and keeps herself head down and everything continues to go well, and I would be able to deliver vaginally, because that would be ideal and what I would like most. So yes, but otherwise overall, I'm doing great. I'm still in great health, and so is baby girl, and that is exciting, and we are so excited. And with that too, that means we can start doing more in this nursery. I still have to paint another coat of paint on the walls yet. But then I can also start making registries and really getting like the design ideas like completely put together and stuff for the babies, for the nursery in here and stuff, and start doing more with that and all that. We do not have a name 100% decided on yet. We actually did kind of discuss one yesterday for a while that we do both really like, that we're leaning towards, but we haven't 100% decided on it yet. So if we do decide on a name, and I think most likely we'll probably end up sharing it, and if you know, we do decide that we'll share the name, I obviously will share it with you guys as well. But that is that now. So that's everything, pretty much all the updates I have for you guys, and everything is going great so far, feeling really pretty good. So now I will go ahead and do my bump shot for you guys and show you guys what my belly is like now at 18 weeks and 3 days. So I'll go ahead and move this back. And so, shirt on, I have my work shirt, my orange work shirt on today. So this is from the front side, this side with the shirt down, my shirt on, and this side. Definitely a bump there, like no doubt about it. Like I very much look pregnant, and then I'm actually wearing a more high-waisted pair of maternity shorts, but I'll go ahead and roll that down so I can show you guys the bump from full-on belly view. So here's from the front, and here's from this side, and from this side. So definitely a bump there, and it's very hard down lower. I mean, up here is still pretty soft yet, like you can even see, like as I poke and kind of squish at it, up here is still very soft yet because baby hasn't moved quite that high yet, but down here is definitely very hard round, and it definitely, like I can feel it like when I bend over that like she's definitely right there and more in the way. It's probably not going to be like extremely much longer before bending over is just not going to be a thing anymore, but yeah, so definitely, and she definitely likes to sit lower because I definitely can feel it when she like puts herself really low, because like I don't know, I feel more like pressure down there and stuff, like, so I can always tell. But yeah, so that is that, and then at the very end of this video will be a bunch of ultrasound pictures for you guys. So that is that. Again, sorry this one was a little bit longer because I had a lot to update you guys on and also share that we're having a baby girl. So that is it. I will end this video here. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Love you guys. Bye.